Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. Next I'll notice that we were finished with the training to level 200 series, so they were thinking to themselves, we gotta help this guy out. So we're just releasing another new class, Lara, which we're leveling to level 200 today. This class will be released in a couple of weeks in MapleStory Korea and in the winter update in MapleStory Global and MapleStory C. We're training the Lara class to level 200 in the MapleStory Korea test server, so keep in mind that some things still might change. Lara is part of the anima race, not to be confused with the anime race, which is also full of 2D waifus. Lara is part of the same race as Hoyoung. Her link skill increases damage against normal monsters and has two parts, a passive part and an active part. The active part triggers every couple of monsters hit and lasts for 30 seconds. At level 2, which is the max level, this passive effect is 5% damage increase against normal monsters, and the active effect that lasts 30 seconds and has a 30-second cooldown increases that by an additional 11%, so 16% more damage against normal monsters. A nice link skill for when you're grinding. Her legion increases just int. In first job, this magician gets a double jump and an up jump, so there's plenty of mobility for this Tomb Raider, and an active skill that reduces incoming damage by 50%. This class does not have magic guard or anything like that, and right now the damage reduction is more than enough, but training this class without any link skills or legion to further increase my HP and reduce incoming damage, this 50% damage reduction is definitely not enough. Since we are in the test server, something still might change, but I was spamming potions and dying a lot at higher levels. The 300 ping that I had surely didn't help, but this class is just not very tanky. Your main attacking skill is called Spirit Sprinkle. It's sort of a mini Big Bang. The range isn't that great, but you know, it gets the job done. It's first job, whatever. And this skill gets another small buff right away. Whenever you hit monsters with the skill, another skill called Mountain Kids has a chance to pop out to deal additional damage. So these mountain spirits that will deal additional damage, like a final attack. And finally, there is another passive skill that increases speed, jump, HP, and decreases damage taken by just a little bit more. We reach level 30, and second job is where this class finally reveals its true playstyle, its true nature. This class randomly summons veins in the map. You can use one skill to activate a vein, and there are 3 types of elements a vein can have: water, wind, and fire. Each one of those veins summons a different elemental spirit at the spot the vein is in. Lara can only have one type of every element active on the map though, so if you activate a water vein and then activate another water vein, the spirit that summoned the previous vein will disappear. Lara is just jumping around and activating veins to defeat monsters. If she can one-shot monsters, this is an amazing grinder, it's super easy. Her skills have a crazy amount of range as well, and the summons stay in the map for like a couple of seconds, it's not too bad actually. So you could technically just activate your veins once and just wait for the skills to end and then you activate them again. But if you can't one-shot, it's not as nice, since activating the same element cancels out the previous summon. So you are sometimes left with half that monsters that you'll need to finish off with your Spirit Sprinkle if you don't want to activate the veins again. If you already have some legion link skills, I think this class could be a great grinder. The other downside at this point is that the veins spawn in random locations, so sometimes you can't have the most optimal grinding rotation because of this vein randomness, but playing Lara is super duper easy. And she can summon small earth spirits that deal damage to enemies. Those are prepared every couple of seconds, and you can right click the skill to have it activate automatically when you activate a vein. Those little spirits don't deal too much damage though, but it's nice to finish off monsters. I was a bit too excited to play this new class that I kinda forgot to film the first 90 levels, so that's why I made Copper Lara 2, but now we're switching back to the OG Copper Lara to continue to grind on her. Third job Lara gets a bit more flexibility with her veins. She gets 3 new skills that she can use on her veins. She can pop out a healing zone with her fire vein that heals every couple of seconds, and if you enter the zone you'll gain a damage buff. Party members also gain this damage buff, but for them it only lasts for 20 seconds. The wind vein can be used as an attack speed, jump and speed boost, and the updrafts can be used to float in the air for a while. Party members will receive again a similar buff, but only for 20 seconds at max level. The blue veins can be linked together as portals, kinda similar to how the Bark portal from League of Legends works. Your character can travel between the 2 linked veins and cannot be hit while it's traveling, but you can still attack while moving from vein to vein. You'll also gain a new attack that can be used every couple of seconds. This attack explodes the vein into arrows, dealing damage against monsters. Pretty nice for when you have a vein in a place you absolutely don't need. But wait, there is more. Lara can also teleport to her veins, dealing damage to nearby monsters. This skill looks for the nearest vein or a vein in the direction that the arrow keys are pressed in when you use the skill, so you can jump and teleport to a nearby vein. That's similar to how Into Darkness works for bandits, but instead of teleporting to monsters, you're teleporting to veins. And boy oh boy, am I glad I'm actually usually playing MapleStory Global, because Sakumo gives absolutely no XP in the MapleStory Korea version, and I just want to re-emphasize, I have no legion or link skills, so this boss is going down very, very slowly. 4th job Lara is getting more explosive though. She finally gets an upgrade to her mini Big Bang, increasing its size and damage, and your elemental summons get buffed as well in damage and size. They finally hit the gym and deal even more damage. And again, if you can one-shot monsters, this class is amazing to grind with. Lara also unlocks the ability to absorb veins and use those to buff her Spirit Sprinkle attack. She can apply all 3 elemental buffs to her attack at once. I didn't do any damage test or something like that, but I'm assuming that when you go bossing with your Lara, she doesn't want to activate her veins as summons because they just block out too much of the screen, but instead she wants to buff her Spirit Sprinkle attack to deal more damage. If you lower her skill transparency, her veins go almost invisible as well, making it really hard to see where they are, so you can't really train this class with low skill transparency. Lara can also use the vein conversion skill to change the element of a vein, giving her a bit more flexibility. It's nice for when you're bossing and there's a certain element you want to get but that's out of reach, or when you're training and a certain vein just isn't the right element. So I'm fighting Hilla right now, and she has a lot more HP in this version than in MapleStory Global, so this drawn out fight is a great way to check out how Lara is when bossing at this point. And I gotta say, it's a bit clunky. Not only does it require setup, the setup is random. Veins will pop up everywhere, but we first need to go there and activate them before we can properly start kicking butt. And since the buffs don't last forever either, we will have to do it again every once in a while. Her low HP and defense makes surviving pretty difficult as well, but with proper funding I think this class can definitely hold its own. Another problem is that Lara only has 100% stance when she activates veins at this point, so when we're fighting Horntail for example, I was having a ton of trouble reaching the veins because I kept getting knocked around. She does have another 4th job skill that reduces incoming damage even more when active, but yeah, you're just kinda stuck in this dude's belly. Her hyper skill actually allows her to place down veins. She can hold up to 3 charges of this skill and a new charge is ready every 10 seconds. This again is very useful when bossing. I just don't see this being as useful when you're grinding. It will just take too long to set up veins, select her element and then go through the map. But she also gets a bind with her hyper skills, and at level 190 she gets to place down this tree with all her spirits. Enemies that walk into the zone have their defense reduced. Lara gains 100% stance and increases her boss damage by 50% and critical damage by 10% when she's in the skill zone. Also every 2 seconds the status effects on Lara are cleansed, so it's pretty OP actually, but only for yourself. At level 200 we finally unlock 5th job, and to my surprise almost all her skills deal massive damage. Lara can pop all her veins at once to fire a barrage of arrows to monsters. I guess he wants to be an archer as well. She can summon a couple of stone spirits that move across the map, dealing damage to everything they touch. She can summon a massive stone spirit that deals a nice amount of burst damage. This skill only has a 20-second cooldown, so it can be used quite often. Lara's other burst skill is actually really amazing. It looks really cool, and this one deals an insane amount of damage. It deals 35 hits, and the damage percentage is like what, 1350, 1500% damage. There are some angelic buster level skill damage percentages right there. Lara is a bit of a weird class though in my opinion. She's pretty good at grinding and has some supportive skills, but her role isn't really to be just a supportive class. But getting her to deal efficient damage is tricky with random veins or requires a bit of setup by summoning your own veins. 3 of her 5th job skills are really nice burst skills, and one is mostly used for grinding I assume, giving her some well needed damage when bossing, but still to me it feels a bit like this class wants to be a grinder, supporter, DPS class, but it doesn't really excel at any of those. I kinda struggled as well with my low HP and defense, but this class is at least super easy to play and grinds really well early on. All the skill animations are also really pretty, so if you're looking for a jack of all trades but master of none class, Lara might be up your alley. And again, do keep in mind this is filmed to the MapleStory Korea test server, so some things still might be changed before she goes live. But that was all for today. What do you think of the Lara class? Let me know in the comments. And as always, many thanks to our members for making this video possible. Thanks to Niels the Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, FLX, Ryalias, Vareese, Dries Zumker, Plux, Wiley, Francisco Sousa, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, ceemak, Saffronyx, Alonso BG Extremes, Anwar NHI, Brandon, Frank Bouget, Ziggy Flidiot, BeamerWT, Knifesu, Chen125, Pinky Traveler, Cloudfix, Gusus Rodriguez, Sir QQ Morse, Froggy11, Sir Tito655, Grayson Lee, Ricer Ayu, Brandon Cam, Vira, Bruno H, Dular, Trevor, Yuki436, Afterlord_MS, Michael Menchaca, Ryalias, and Johnman. If you would like to be mentioned here as well and get early access to new videos, check out that join button below this video. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, stay safe, and happy mapling!